Welcome to Oddball History, dipshits.
For it. A boom, 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 boom.
How.
Welcome to Oddball History.
Hell.
Yes, yes, yes.
Just some Eddie Murphy talk
We're doing it.
to start the episode. We love you, Eddie Murphy. We thank you for your hilarious story about how Sammy Davis Jr. worshipped Satan that you told on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. It was very funny.
They had the in the hot tub.
He said he was like all Sammy Davis's stuff, like all his like cool, like it was all cocaine. That was what Eddie Murphy said. And then he was like, "Did you know the devil's just as powerful as God?" And then he could tell Eddie Murphy wasn't that into it, so he kind of backed off. But he was like, "Yeah, he worshipped the devil."
I like a good satanic worshiping from your beloved celebrities, you know?
Yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr., one-eyed Jew into the devil.
Not the Rat
Who'd
Pack.
have thunk it?
Not the Rat Pack story I was expecting.
Yeah.
You know?
So today we are doing the CIA Gone Wild.
And they've gone real wild over the years.
So we picked 3 stories that we loved that have sillier sides to it.
Yeah, we didn't. We tended to stay away from the ones that were wild just because they were really grim
and just real.
And some of these are still really grim.
Yeah, grim in a way that we are like, nah, we can make it funny.
Yeah, kind of funny.
Not
still,
like,
yeah.
Oh, shucks, we really did overthrow that people. And
a lot of time has passed with these.
That's also important.
Zany CIA doings plus time equal comedy.
You know that old saying.
That's what they say.
But before that, I want to do the top comments of the week. We don't have a soundboard.
Welcome to Top Comments of the Week. Brought to you by Oddball History. Isn't it funny how AI can be so weird? Like it knows everything but still can't fold a fitted sheet. Let's dive into this week's top comments.
We have Farm Welding, our first back-to-back champ in the top comment section.
Oh, our pal, Farm Welding.
Farm Welding.
Yeah.
We had the clip about Rudy's friend didn't actually die in a steel mill. He was run through 10 coal crushers.
10.
And then this one's not particularly funny. I just enjoyed it.
He went double digits.
Farm Welding went mouth to mouth, probably sounded like a whistle. You're like, God damn, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
What are you going through?
Or a harmonica.
It's more folksy.
Some kind of musical thing, though.
And then we had
but it's true.
It's
That's
very
the
true.
thing.
Yeah,
it is
no
true.
Good. No good. Then
you don't want to go through 10 coal crushers. We'll tell you that right now.
BCZ, a rock beast, 6294 on YouTube commented on the Rudy podcast. And this one I liked because it started out, and I was like, oh, what a heartfelt, genuine thing. And then he got silly, where he goes, you guys are criminally overlooked. I laugh my ass off and learn at the same time. I also have an underground merkin business. Are you familiar with the merkin?
I am.
I had to look it up.
The pubic wig.
Pubic wig.
Wigs.
Like a codpiece. What'd you say?
And wigs. The Norm Nixon impression.
Then he goes, I say underground because it's located under a bridge. They are crafted from the finest mouse fur. Hit me up. It will change your life. So a real local creators supporting local creators thing. I appreciated the hell out of that.
If you need a merkin, get in contact with this fella.
Yeah.
He has a thriving business. I understand mouse fur is very soft against the skin.
Yes, it's very, very gentle creature, you know. And then we had we never know how clips are going to do. For some reason, the YouTube one about the insurance scam where they would build stadium-shaped student housing to use federal money to build stadiums. There was a big argument about the best football movie.
Oh, nice.
So my unofficial list, the only one I have in order is the best one is Varsity Blues.
I love Varsity Blues.
That's my favorite.
It's a lot because of the time I grew up. I was like 12 years old when it came out, and I legitimately was like, well, these guys are cool.
This is the coolest thing.
My oldest brother took me to see that movie, I remember, and it was packed theater. It was the night it came out, and at the Cinemark 17, and at the beginning of the movie, they show a Texas flag flapping in the wind. This is the first shot. The crowd fucking exploded. Fuck yeah! And then with that cheer, we silently agreed to overlook James Van Der Beek's accent.
It's fine.
That's what we were saying with our applause.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys do what you're going to do with the accents.
I hate you, Dad.
I don't want your life. Which I gotta say, they act like that's like every Texan's life. But when I told my dad off at a football-related picnic, it sounded nothing like that.
Playing football at West Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
And when he said, told me to fire that fucking pigskin, it wasn't like a big dramatic thing. I just fired the fucking pigskin.
Yeah.
It's all Hollywood stuff.
I was trained to do.
Yeah.
Varsity Blues.
We love you.
Any Given Sunday.
I like
almost exclusively for the Al Pacino speech at the end.
Yeah.
We have a
it's really good.
Friend of the pod, the program.
Life
is a game of inches.
He's also in a really funny gambling movie with Matthew McConaughey called Two for the Money, where he goes, "Life is fucking good." And that
I do love like Al Pacino became a caricature of himself, but he has that Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Like he just does the cadence and something sounds awesome.
And the speech is genuinely like it's Al Pacino and being at his most Al Pacino, and the speech but the speech will still get you every time.
Speaking of Southern accents and Al Pacino being awesome, a movie that I love. The Devil's Advocate.
Oh my God,
with
crazy
Keanu
movie!
Reeves. What a good movie!
Shit, what a crazy
yes, great movie.
Yes,
this is the bad movie reviews. With I don't know if that one's aged well according to the critics.
The Devil's Advocate is wild. It's like, what if the movie Little Nicky was serious?
What a good analogy.
I thought of that. I just recently rewatched Devil's Advocate, so I was fresh.
What if that was Adam Sandler's impetus to write Little Nicky? Is he watched The Devil's Advocate and he was like, we can zany this up a bit?
I actually just saw him. He said, Sandler said that when he met Jack Nicholson for the first time before they did Anger Management, that he said he made a Little Nicky reference and gave him a little, like the Little Nicky thing. Nicholson did that. Sandler was like, that's pretty cool.
I love, Adam Sandler was on Joe Rogan, and it was funny. Joe Rogan
he's
was
been doing the rounds,
Yeah, he had that special come out.
Very good. I watched
enjoyed it.
It was good.
It was like silly. But
good times.
He was like, Rogan was like, Don't Mess with the Zohan is my family's favorite movie. I've seen it like 25 times. And you could tell Adam Sandler was like, that one, huh?
Huh.
All right. Yeah. It was
Fair
funny.
enough.
Yeah, good. The bush. It's all about the bush.
I never seen it.
Finish off the list.
Yeah.
Remember the Titans.
Like it.
We're going to put Rudy on. We did the
Solved
podcast.
racism.
It's a classic. Mm-hmm. And then, And then there's like honorable mentions like Brian's song.
I got to put Friday Night Lights at the top of my list.
Okay.
I think it might be overall my favorite. I felt about Friday Night Lights as a young adult the way I felt about Varsity Blues as a kid. I was like fucking all in. I love Tim McGraw as a drunken football dad.
Yeah.
That character alone makes the movie fantastic. Like,
yes.
His speech where he's like,
Indian outlaw.
My daddy used to beat me with a bullwhip, and that's how it feels to watch you drop them goddamn footballs. He's sitting on his car. That guy's a menace.
Yeah.
He kicks his window out.
I played high school football in Texas, and I had a coach whose favorite saying was he'd yell at you, hitting you with things, and go, "It's better to die a small child than to fumble the football."
Damn.
Which,
turnovers
lose games. So
football coaches really do not like when you fumble.
We had
another
coach. You know when you're a kid and you think these guys are all adults.
Yeah.
And it's like a 28-year-old guy just figuring shit out. And his screensaver on his like work computer at school was the Smurf village on fire. And like a couple of them like trying to climb out of windows.
Whoa.
Just like, what a menacing fella.
Yeah. What did the Smurfs ever do?
There's a lot of pictures. You can just use the default screen. It's just a computer, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I gotta personalize this a little bit.
Yeah, something inspirational.
Yeah, he got fired for inappropriate relations with.
Wow. Yeah. The guy who wanted to murder the Smurfs was bad?
Yeah, who would have thunk it?
What?
But okay, so on to the topic at hand.
CIA gone wild. We're talking all the time. They got their tits out at Mardi Gras. All the agents. I forgot the word agent for a minute.
Yeah.
We could do Sukarno first.
Sukarno first.
Sukarno, the Indonesian president from 1945 after he led a revolution against Dutch colonial rule and a sex machine.
And a sex machine. The guy loved doing it.
He was a coxman.
But this is a classic CIA move, is they overthrow the colonial power at the time. Then we step in, start helping out. And then they start leaning towards communist tendencies. But we install a democracy, and then they democracied wrong. And we went, you got a democracy different.
Yeah, they didn't like how popular Sukarno was.
Yeah.
Sukarno was beloved. He himself wasn't a communist. He always... but he was kind of communist adjacent, and just to pull back a little, Indonesia was just like a big stage for the early stages of the Cold War between the Soviet Union. They were kind of grappling with Indonesia during this whole time period. But yeah, this guy is too popular. The U.S. does not care for that.
No.
So they're like, hey, let's ruin his reputation by distributing a sex tape of him.
And then, so this is actually a two-pronged thing. So Sukarno, the Indonesian president, they want to tarnish his reputation. And so like the KGB ends up he's like flying to Russia, and they have a tape of him banging a bunch of flight attendants. And then they try to leverage that against him.
Yeah.
And he just goes... Yeah, that was pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, he actually, according to legend, he goes, "Can I get a copy of that?"
Can I actually get that? Please release that.
I did not realize there was footage.
I did a pretty good job.
I did a really good job.
And then the U.S., the CIA tries to step in and do the same thing, but they just get word that he's a womanizer and they're trying to tarnish his reputation. They didn't hear the part about this plan hilariously failing.
Yeah,
and so they try to stage one.
Mm-hmm. At first, they literally do a casting call and look for porn actors who look like Sukarno, but they couldn't find one. I imagine it would be a little easier to find one to stand in for the blonde Russian flight attendant that was his mistress, but they couldn't find a Sukarno according to reports.
And so they do the classic Hollywood move and they go, we're putting a mask on Ron Jeremy. Mm-hmm. We got to solve this.
They're like, we can make a hyper realistic mask. And so they did it.
But they
made a porno movie by all accounts, and there's dispute over the details and how they made it. Like, one account says that they did eventually find a lookalike, like it was lookalikes. Another one said it was a mask, but everyone agrees they did make the movie.
Make it. Yeah,
it was called Happy Days, which is. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I think it was we're in like the late 50s or the mid 50s, so I don't think it wasn't. This was while Happy Days was happening. Yeah. This wasn't like the show Happy Days time, so it wasn't a reference to that.
I do like the code names of just, hey, we'll figure it out. It's fine.
Yeah,
like they're tongue in cheek. They're having fun with it.
Happy Days.
Yeah, and so.
You don't know what you're getting, No. Like, it's not like pornos nowadays. The titles give you exactly what you're getting.
Yeah. But I call this the Dave Portnoy defense.
It's a win for accuracy. Yeah. Yeah.
This is the Dave Portnoy defense, where remember when he had a sex tape leak? And they were like, Dave, what's your response? And he goes, breaking news, Dave Portnoy fucks. Because this guy was just like, hey, yeah, I'm pretty open about banging everybody. So swing and a miss, gang. So millions of dollars were spent trying to tarnish this man's reputation.
Yeah, it's really funny that they tried this at all, because Sukarno never made any secret. Like, he had 4 wives and a full-time girlfriend that lived with him. He one time was on a visit to Washington, D.C., and he shocked the hosts by asking for call girls. He was like, where are the call girls at, though? That you're supposed to provide.
This was a fancy trip. I thought the call girls just show up.
You know how, like, when you're the home team, you provide the Gatorade.
Yeah.
But with call girls.
Where are my orange slices and prostitutes, please?
Where are they at? Are they in this jug? Yeah. Are there prostitutes in this jug?
Yeah.
And then, but there weren't, and he was furious.
Yes.
And they still tried to be like, oh, we're going to show you having sex with ladies. And it didn't work. Eventually, they were like, they just ousted him via good old-fashioned MI6 coup, backed coup.
Good old-fashioned violence ruled the day again.
Yeah, 1967. He made it all the way. I mean, considering that you have the KGB and the CIA after you making it to 1967 seems like a huge win to me. But Sukarno finally gets got 1967. He's replaced by the Western-friendly Suharto. The Suharto break kid, they called him. No, I'm kidding. They didn't call him that, but he was a monster. He oversaw.
But he was a monster.
He oversaw the deaths of between 500,000 and 1 million people, at least in 1965 and 1966 alone.
Ooh, those are good numbers for the good guy.
Yeah,
like, we finally got one we can handle. Like, he kills some people.
Yeah,
but, and so the next one, Acoustic Kitty. This one cracked me up because it was during the Cold War. The CIA spent $20 million. That was like the budget they spent on this, trying to put transmitters in cats.
Yeah,
because they're a famously sneaky creature
and curious.
Who's gonna not have a conversation about something secret, and a cat walks up, and you're like,
"Oh, I'm fine with this.
What a delightful cat."
Yeah. And let's continue our illicit dealings.
And so they put these transmitters in these cats, and then they found out that you can't train cats.
Yeah. It was not.
Kind of I just love the budgets of this. They spent $20 million to go like, yeah, they just kind of leave and do their own thing all day.
Yeah. That's what they learned.
Yeah.
And that's literally like what they put in their report after that was just recently released. They said that it was heavily redacted, but it said that it was a remarkable scientific achievement, and they learned that cats can indeed be trained to move short distances.
Yeah. 20 mil. Let's go ahead and get some more breakthroughs.
Not like trained to move short distances, like on command. Like you're just saying they can go there. They are able to move from place to place. I mean, I guess you got to say you did something. You know, you can't just say, all right, we'll be honest, we fucked it. That's not in any CIA reports.
It's like, we got a budget. We got to come out with some sort of finding. It's like, what'd you figure out?
They're like, cats can walk. Cats can walk. Cats can walk.
Cats can walk.
We learned it.
So
it's a breakthrough.
Here's the report.
We did it.
I'll be expecting my promotion soon. Thank you very much.
Yes. But so they, it was all in the 1960s, of course. It was an hour-long operation on this first cat, and they put the thing in. The first mission, the cat's supposed to eavesdrop on two guys outside the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. They release him a short distance from that place,
which he could travel.
Which he could travel
that short distance.
We learned that thanks to science. But instead, they release him, and he immediately gets run over by a taxi cab. At least that's one account. Another account says that's no cat was ever hit by a cab, which I don't know who to believe here. But the other one says he was not hit. It was just they just plain old realized this was a horrible idea.
I'm just imagining they like the spies in this like dark alleyway release the cat, and it just begins catting.
Yeah.
It just kind of fucks around in some trash and like runs off.
Yeah, you imagine these cats cannot focus long enough to be good spies.
Well, we should go to plan B, I suppose.
Yeah, so the other version is that they realized their mistake and took the audio equipment out of the cat, and it lived a happy life.
That's what they say.
Which is what they say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly,
that part was redacted too.
Honestly, the taxi cab thing
is funnier.
So we're going with that.
We're going with that.
You know, that's it's a pretty clear winner in that case.
All right, and our next CIA being silly story comes from the 1950s in the Philippines, which this was again another communism thing where we were fighting that. And they had a rebel group it was like originally like the Filipino army against Japan during World
Yeah,
War
the
II.
Hucks.
And so during this time, the Hucks were like this rebel army that was gonna. They had a kind of pro-Western government in. The Hucks were just this army that existed there. They were gonna come take some shit over.
Yeah, they were rebels, anti-West, anti-imperialist.
Yeah.
Just not super big fans of America or the Soviets meddling in their affairs, and not a fan of the governments that they liked to install there.
Which a country that likes its independence is no good for the CIA.
Yeah, the CIA doesn't like to see that.
We're going to fix that.
It doesn't like
quick.
the idea of that.
And so they had like a long culture of this thing called the Aswang, which is essentially like their boogeyman. And it's like very different regionally of what because it's kind of like a catch-all. Some places it's kind of vampire-y. It like takes children, and it's like bad omens, and it's like your catch-all boogeyman situation.
Yeah, and it really seemed like it is. It's a catch-all boogeyman. The Aswang. He eats organs and fetuses and phlegm. And it can take the form of a giant pig or a dog or a man-sized vulture, which I thought was the coolest of the bunch. I would spend all my time as a man-sized vulture if I was an Aswang. I just feel it's the coolest.
Not just like a big pig.
Yeah, I like
Neat.
You know what I do though around state fair time?
Tell me.
Go win me a blue ribbon. Change back into the man-sized vulture.
Yeah, I just like the validation of it.
And they're like, oh, fuck, we gave the blue ribbon to an Aswang again.
Every year.
Every goddamn year. That's what I'd do.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
But yeah.
That's a good folks song. If I were an Aswang.
If I were an Aswang, here's what I'd do.
Yeah. And so this guy, was it Lansdale? He was
Ed Lansdale.
Ed Lansdale.
Big Ed Lansdale.
An ad man. Very Don Draper-esque.
Lansdale, you old son of a bitch.
You old son of a bitch. He came over under the guise of the Air Force.
Yeah, he was an Air Force officer.
Yeah, so he was there he was as a CIA propaganda officer, and he was kind of outside the box thinker as an ad man, creative dude.
Yeah, he was very into psychology.
Yeah.
In his ad work, and then as a spy. He joined the army at World War II and then gets put in the OSS, and then which turns into the CIA. That's how he got in.
Yeah.
But he's just a real natural at like psychological warfare and thinking of and so in the Philippines, he and his men take to studying local customs and folklore, and that's how they get the idea for this most insane fucking project.
My favorite part of Lansdale's CIA Aswang faking is that he was kind of wrong, but it still worked.
Yeah.
So they had like a special forces group that would track the Hucks through the jungle, and when a guy got kind of lagged behind, they would take him. And then they punctured 2 holes in his neck like a vampire would do, and then strung him up in a tree to drain his blood, and then left him there. So when they came looking for the guy, they would be like, what in God's name happened here? It's like, there's an Aswang chasing us.
Yeah.
But he kind of had an incorrect interpretation of what they believe.
This is the part I love. As I only imagine like one of his researchers is like, it's like this thing, it can take all these forms, it eats fetuses, and he's like a vampire, and the guy's like, no, like no, it's like much more complex than that. It like
sounds like a vampire.
And the guy's like, so a vampire. I'm just gonna say vampire.
Yeah, we're doing.
I'm just gonna say vampire. So like, I read an expert that was like, there was no kind of belief in any Aswang that was like a blood cell. Like there were no. Vampire-like Aswangs. So
Lansdale heard someone kind of say vampire and went, I can do vampire.
Yeah. So they're going to great lengths to like put out the word that there have been Aswang sightings. And then they're doing this, and then they're seeing the Hucks like freak out and at the sight of their dead friends,
which you have
and
to
be
imagine.
like, oh man, they're so scared of vampires.
Which is just like, can you imagine being them, of being like, yeah, they didn't believe it was a vampire at all, but they did lose a guy, and they turn around and they find him drained of blood.
He's drained of his blood and
just
hanging upside down, and it's been done silently, as if by a professional killing for, you know, like,
there's like,
that's pretty scary too. Like either way you cut it.
No vampire. I was like, I think I'm going to take it to the house on this one.
Yeah. If you find your friend with holes in his neck, drained of blood, hanging upside down from a tree, there's no good explanation. You know, there's no like...
I do love that classic American confidence of Lansdale being like, these fucking idiots are terrified of vampires. These guys. Can you believe these guys?
Oh my God.
We keep stringing their friends up and draining all the blood out of them, trying to mess with them.
He's very, he's like a Scooby-Doo villain that takes things way too far.
So yeah, that was a good one of them. It worked.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of worked, but just because...
it was a monstrous thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. Not really the vampire part. It just turns out that it's very scary.
Yeah, if you steal people and mutilate them, their friends get scared.
People get very jumpy after that.
Yes. And so, and then that leads us to our last one, which I love this one. This is, again, Cold War Russia time. And they spent some money researching it, and they had this plan to demoralize Russian men by taking extra large condoms and then labeling them as medium and small. So the Russian population, who for some reason had just been airdropped a bunch of condoms, like, would be like, oh, extra small. Like, oh shit. Which I told my wife this one, and she was just like,
have comparatively small dong.
Yeah.
That was their hope.
I told my wife about this one, and she was like, they really needed some more women around the CIA at this point. Like, that one should have been called out as stupid very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. You would think someone would catch that.
What if we say their dicks are little, and everyone around the table is like, God damn it, Johnson, that's a beautiful idea.
Good.
It's good. I would hate that.
I would not. Yeah. Also, love that it's like a state-sanctioned version of Frank Reynolds dropping the Magnum condom. Remember that episode of Always Sunny? And he's like, "Oh, I dropped my extra large condom from my Magnum dong." This is the government doing that.
The propaganda version of that.
Literally the same scheme for different reasons.
Yeah.
Frank was trying to dentist a woman.
Yes.
Do the dentist system to a woman, and these guys, they were just trying to demoralize the Russians, but same means, you know.
It is funny of just like, you always think of this government shadow organization of the hive mind of intellectuals, and it's just guys around a table going like, what if we make them think their dicks are little?
Yeah, like these are very serious men,
and it's just it's a general going like, I want you to work on that one for a minute. Bring me a proposal on that.
Bring me a proposal on the suggesting their dicks are small pitch.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, that's those are the stories we're covering for the CIA being silly.
That's the CIA going wild. They go real wild sometimes. They'll kill you and drain your blood, and then be like, "You believe those guys bought it?"
That one was my favorite. It's just actually murdering people.
Misunderstanding. Yeah.
I love how you said, like, oh, they believe in, it's like kind of like a vampire thing. It's like, vampire, got it. It's like, well, no, it's very different. No. It's like, vampire.
Yeah, 2 holes in the neck. I heard you.
It. Suck the blood.
2 holes. He wears a cape.
It's like, you're not listening. It's very different. It's like, well, yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah.
I already got the gears turning. But are you caught up on Chimp Crazy?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What a...
Dude. Holy shit.
The guy did it again. To go from Tiger King, what a specific field to be in.
And to, just invent a job and just be the best at it.
Yeah. He is so good at it. Of wacky private animal people.
Holy shit.
I just can't believe how crazy that lady is.
My favorite, my favorite crazy line of the week from her was when she was talking about, I think she was trying to demonstrate like, Tonka has a good life here with me. And she was talking about all the stuff she gives him. And she was like, he has his own iPad. I mean, it's a kid's iPad, but it's an iPad. Like it has like email on it and stuff.
Like,
and then she pauses. She goes, he's got his own email. And then she pauses and she goes, I mean, I hope he don't email, but if he does, it is what it is.
It was a dramatic pause where she was just like in the moment, she was like, oh shit, is he emailing people?
Actually, you know what? I don't know enough to say for sure that he's not emailing people. I apologize. I shouldn't have brought this up. I shouldn't have spoken. It was like she was saying, he doesn't. It's not like he has correspondence with anyone. And then she thought, and she was like, well, maybe he does. And then really quickly, she was defiantly like, and I'm okay with that.
It's his life. He deserves to live it.
It's a real journey.
Just how can you look that bad and be like, I got to invite some camera crews around here.
Killing it. Oh,
and then
man.
I'm so shocked the clown guy didn't just jump at the $20,000.
Oh, yeah.
When they had PETA put a bounty out to find Tonka. It was started at 10 grand. They moved it up to 20. And they have this fake documentarian because the original guy is like famous from Joe Exotic, so people kind of know him.
Yeah.
And this guy's just like works as a clown at like kids' parties. He's a man that 20 grand would be helpful for.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked he didn't like day one just be like,
give him
boom,
up.
Yep, got it.
That would be hilarious. What a turn in the documentary.
So here's a thing I do. I don't know if you do this. During these documentaries, do you Google what happens at the end?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't want to know.
Okay.
Until the show
tells me. Yeah.
Man,
I have a problem with crime ones where I think it's so absurd that I want to see what punishment was laid at their feet. So I won't spoil it for you. I
Google like at the end of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I Google a lot of first 48's end, like real quickly, and so a lot of times they're just going to trial, and then if you see an old one like that trial's happened, and you can look it up. But yeah, I don't usually spoil it. There was a serial killer on First 48 this week in Atlanta. He was going around. I think I had seen it before, but he was going around killing homeless guys with a really powerful handgun. I forget what it was called, but it was like real intense.
Yeah.
And he was just walking up on these guys and shooting them. And the detective they had, like, he's always like, he's really confident and talking to the camera, but he's not good at it. And it was so fun. He was like, he kept like trying to explain like how heinous this act was, but just doing a horrible, he would just be like, I mean, sure, I get, maybe you come up on a homeless guy and kick the shit out of him or something, but I mean, you don't shoot him. And then there's a second victim and they're like, I mean, he's like, I mean, maybe if you're like a real mean son of a bitch, you come up and shoot one homeless guy, But here coming up, two homeless guys. At this point, I'm like, where have you been?
Yeah, we needed this man as the prime suspect.
In the last 48 hours.
I do love. It's like, what a heinous act. She's like, don't get me wrong. We all want to just stomp on a hobo every now and then, Sure. We all have that instinct in us.
Sure, murder a homeless guy. Yeah. Sure, that's fine. Of course.
That's a gimme.
But that's a gimme. Many.
Every 20 years in public service, you get to kill one vagrant. That should be official.
That's this guy's pitch.
Yeah, it's J.D. Vance's -- talking point now.
The detective Patrick Bateman.
Fantasy football is among us.
Oh yeah,
finally here.
I have a draft tonight. I'm gonna have to try to draft I have a show, and then I'm gonna have to try to finagle it somewhere.
I'm a believer in don't think about it too hard.
Yeah.
Like, what do you know that the ESPN app doesn't?
Yeah, that's very true.
And there is like luck to it of like what backup's going to be a stud, what rookie's going to be good, like who's going to blow their knee out.
So much of it is injuries. Yeah, because But I am in 3 leagues this year, a college pick'em and an NFL knockout league. That is 5 leagues I have signed up for, which I always say I'm going to do 1 or 2, and then the time rolls around. And for the one fantasy draft, we ran 40-yard dashes. Hell yeah. I saw you chopping out there.
I clipped out a 5.34.
Grease lightning.
Boys moving. All right. Boys moving. I'm going to put the clip in here because I want to.
Come on, baby, push!
It was not good.
Oh, I was listening to the song Highwayman. Have you ever heard the song Highwayman by the Highwaymen?
Yeah.
I love that song.
One-hit wonders.
Those guys, it's written by another guy, but I was laughing because at how like just out of left field Johnny Cash's verse is on it. Like it starts out, it's Willie, I was a highwayman, and then he talks about being a highwayman. He went around robbing people with his gun and his sword, and he was a highwayman. The second one is Chris Christopherson. He was a sailor. So, like, not really a highwayman, but kind of highwayman adjacent, right? Then there's Waylon Jennings. He was a dam builder. We're straying a little bit from the highwayman at this point, but I guess there's a certain highwayman spirit in working, a dangerous job building a dam where water meets steel and all that. And then it gets to Johnny Cash's verse, and he's like,
"Did you already pick highwayman?
I'm a rocket ship." I was like, what? And then he's like, you guys ever think about reincarnation? And that's the last verse. It's like, whoa, we are a long way.
We really strayed from Highwayman.
From Highwayman. But man, I love that song. I just listened to it too many times this week, so I thought about it way too much. I love that, though. I like to think that he wrote the guy, what is his name? Owen Bradley? Something? No, that's not right. Anyway, whoever wrote it, though, I like to think he wrote the first 3 verses and then hit a wall, and then
they're like,
somebody
"Hey, we're
was
bringing
like,
on 2 more singers.
I'm gonna get you really high, get through this writer's block."
All right, we got a dam builder.
He comes back.
We got dam builder and a rocket ship.
What if I was like a drop of rain? And they're like, "Whoa, but remember the highway? We're talking cowboys.
We're doing a westerny thing here.
Talking robbing people, bushwhacking them."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'll probably be around forever, man." Like in different forms. And that's the song.
That little giggle at the end. Let's see. I have do you have any opinions on circumcision?
No, I don't think it. No, I don't have any hard opinions on circumcision.
I didn't have any either. However, I just had a baby boy.
Oh yeah,
I've been thrust into the circumcision debate. where
that's how they get you.
They ask always you at the drop of a hat, like, because it's a question I feel like we had an answer to, but you don't like think about it much, and they just come in and ask you. And I did. He's circumcised. If you're not going to be the biggest, you better be the prettiest. That's what I say. But,
just to be on the right side of Des O'Neill's joke.
Yes.
You didn't want him getting burned in a Des O'Neill show 18 years from now.
Wait until
one of our friend Des O'Neill, shout out.
He has a joke about this.
He has a great joke about this.
But I had a theory, because they don't sell you on it, because they don't sell you on anything. And they're just like, it's just a medical procedure, and like 80% of the world doesn't do it, 20% does. They give you like the pros and cons, and it's like, I don't. They're like, nurses are like, whatever you want to do, we don't really
Can you
care.
tell if the doctor is circumcised or not by how he pitches you? He's like,
I already know.
I mean, it looks great, but you don't have to do it. It looks fantastic. It's up to you completely. Yeah. But it looks
what a sharp penis,
bigger.
Sharp
It looks
bigger, better, wetter.
It looks like a proud American soldier. On VJ Day 1945 in his helmet.
You want a dick kissing nurses?
You want a dick out there on Times Square kissing nurses, sweeping them off their feet?
No. Or you want a trash dick out there just doing some manual labor somewhere?
Or you want the little brother from A Christmas Story all wrapped up for winter? But it's your choice. It's totally your choice.
Totally up to you. No, our doctor was a chosen one of the chosen people. Okay. So he got snipped. I'm snipped, So you kind of have like, same team. But I have a theory that's why the terrorists hate us.
For it's our shorn peni?
It's really just Americans and Jewish people. as we know, Israel's having a contentious time out there, you know? It's not good for them.
Yeah.
America never been popular over there. And I think it's not because of our freedom, as the mainstream media wants you to believe. It's because it's our pretty wieners.
It's because of our shorn...
Yes.
Our shorn hogs.
our hogs bequeathed of adornment.
Our haircutted hog.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's why
I haven't thought about it, you know?
You don't have a lot of thoughts about it. I just went like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not I guess it's like not a thing you think about, and then suddenly it's just on your doorstep.
What?
They're like, make the choice now. And you're like, that's
it's the
me,
Matrix.
wondering
like,
how I
red
got
pill, blue
here.
pill. Yeah. It's like, this will decide the rest of his fate. My brother, I don't know. My brothers didn't circumcise his kid. He has a son too. And I was laughing with him about it. I was like, I'm going to make sure to belittle him when he's old enough to understand.
Good uncle behavior.
The old sock cock, the old anteater coming in. Hey, weird dick. So you got to let him know, you know, a little family dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm helping Owen establish some dominance, all right?
For sure.
You got to, it's about the mental game, as our CIA stories would tell.
I can appreciate that. Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I've been thinking about, I've been doing some jokes about it. I've been thinking about circumcision more than I normally would. Mm-hmm. When you're like, oh yeah,
as you do.
That's a decision.
As you do. Yeah, I was, here's the thing I was thinking about doing a bit on. I was, thinking about Unsolved Mysteries. I was watching this old Unsolved Mysteries, and it was killing me because when I was a kid, that show scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it now, and it's also like low budget and shitty. I'm like, how did this scare me? And then I kept watching, and I realized I think it was a combination of the music, scary as shit, the host, Robert Stack, he was also very scary. But the main thing, I think, was how they would try to like rope you into helping solve. He would be like, maybe you could solve a mystery, and then the screen would go black, and it's like, fucking Robert Stack, don't rope me into this shit, you know?
Yeah.
I gotta be.
I didn't see nothing. All right, Robert?
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. I'm 6 years old. I don't think I can help you solve the mystery of DB Cooper.
I got no new info.
Stage. Have I ever told you my DB Cooper theory?
Oh, no.
Have I ever done that on this podcast?
No.
I have a DB Cooper theory. He definitely fell to his death immediately. And the only reason anyone thinks otherwise is because they made him look so goddamn cool in his police sketch. Yeah. I really think if he had been wearing a Big Dogs t-shirt and flip-flops, we would know him as
this idiot
that
jumped out of the plane.
dipshit who stole a bunch of money just to fall to his death immediately.
Yeah.
But because they made him look like fucking Don Draper, they're all like, ooh, I don't know. I think he might have slid his way out of this one.
You said Big Dog shirt and flip-flops. I immediately have 3 men specifically in mind. What a look that is.
It is.
Yeah. One day I'll get there. Fatherhood just started for me. Give me a decade or two, and I'll ease into the big. Taylor doesn't like. I call him Big Dog. When I'm holding him, all right, Big Dog. Ease up, buddy. Ease up.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love Big Dog. I also have, I have I had a baseball coach that would call me Big Dog. I loved it. You know? Big Dog. No guy doesn't like being called Big Dog.
No. We have, everyone calls each other Bubba on the fire department.
That's very like wrestling of you guys.
Yeah. It's like, all right, Bubba.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice. My mom did the same thing. I have 2 other brothers.
Yeah, I think we used Bubba.
She called us all Joe. We all had the same nickname.
Joe?
It's just Joe. It's like, you need somebody, just call for Joe. Somebody arrives.
I like that system.
It was a delicate system, but it worked. She would just say Joe, and the correct one came. Which I think she didn't need a specific one.
Yeah.
She was like, I need a body, like Joe.
Yeah.
Somebody would be like, all right.
It's genius.
I heard it.
Yeah. I like it.
But you got any shows coming up?
I have
any other thing you want to cover?
I have a show tonight and tomorrow. They will be done by the time this is out.
Good. My favorite promo, Scott. You got to quit doing this.
I have a let's see, Thursday, September 12th, I'm at Fort Worth Hyenas doing a 325.
Hell yeah.
And then Friday, September 20th at DCC on Kane's show. And then, October 19th, Saturday, Stephenville with Fonzo Crow and Zach Webb. Should be a good show.
What's in Stephenville? That'd be cool.
The rodeo.
Oh, nice. I did that Fort
I don't know.
Brewery.
I think a lot of good cowboys come from Stephenville.
They do, yeah. That's where, is Tarleton there? Yeah, Tarleton.
Oh, yeah, Tarleton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Division I football. My neighbor Cole played there.
Oh,
so,
nice.
you know, met their record-setting quarterback at a training one time. He's a fireman in like Grand Prairie or something. Zed. Cool name.
That was a cool name.
But
I mean, Pulp Fiction kind of ruined it for a while.
Yeah.
But still cool.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
He got wasted, and we were with like a giant jack, like this guy that is the most fireman-y looking dude. He's like, I think close to 50, but he's just this huge jack dude with like cool tattoos and like a badass mustache.
Hell yeah.
And you could tell like women pay attention to him, and then also men. Like straight men who kind of get like a tickle somewhere. They're like, Jesus Christ, look at this guy. Whoa. Like, whenever a guy's smitten, they always go, you play ball somewhere?
That's true. That's so true.
He's like, no, I'm just a large, handsome man. All right, well, that's what I felt. But I wanted to talk about sports instead.
Yeah.
So
I would prefer to express myself through sports talk.
Yeah. Rather than saying you're a big, handsome fella. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about sports.
Any measure of directness here could be very incriminating for me. So I'm gonna need you to say you did play ball somewhere.
Yes, you played for the Patriots. That's the one I'm gonna say in my head. Yeah. But I did that Fort Brewery show last weekend. It was fun. It's that cool brewery, but it was my first show back since having the kid, and I haven't been on stage in like a month. And I was like, it's 25 minutes, and I was like, that's fine. And then I was like, man, I'm co-headlining it with Dez. And in my head, I was just like, man, I really like Dez to go last.
Yeah.
And then I ended up closing it out. I was just like, fuck. But it ended up going fine.
Nice.
But I was definitely way more nervous than normal because I just like hadn't been on stage.
Oh, yeah. It's been a long time.
I'm like already planning on talking about circumcisions for like a good 5 to 10 minutes. You're like, we're rolling some dice tonight, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of those that if the people don't laugh, you suddenly feel like a fucking weirdo. Yeah. I have a few of those where I'm like, you guys are really fucking me here. You guys are making a fuck out of me.
Yeah, guys, we got 4 more minutes of this topic.
Yeah.
Get in now. Get on the ride. But I was surprised. I asked everyone if they were like, who's circumcised? Not expecting people to be kind of embarrassed about it. And it was just an uproar of pro-circumcision people. They were just like, yeah!
It was
fuck yeah, my dudes.
It was a convention that was in town.
But Scott and I actually have a show together coming up.
Hell yeah.
We'll both be
I forgot that one.
No, you're good. Hotel Vin. It's called it's like the Harvest Hall. They have this place called Third Rail where they do like live music acts, and it's a cool room. Yeah, we're doing it on November 24th. It's in downtown Grapevine. Hotel Vin, Harvest Hall. It'll be a blast. Scott's featuring. I'm headlining. And then some of the Dumb Zone guys are going to be there. I know Jake lives right down the street, so...
Hell yeah.
Sports radio time, baby. We're doing it.
Gonna be a good time.
All right. You have any closing thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Here's one. I was thinking, we're doing this podcast. I read a lot of history, and I see this thing. It's like history hack. Like they always say, historians, they always get so upset, and they're like, people always blame the rats for spreading the plague, throughout plague times. But it wasn't the rats, it was the fleas. And it's like I can tell you, if you bring a disease into the place from having fleas on you, the fleas never get the blame. No. You know what I mean? You can just ask any of the mattress firms I am no longer allowed in. They just don't do it. Fleas are blameless for whatever reason. Yeah.
Everyone gets mad at me for returning all these mattresses.
It's always the host. It's always the host they get mad at, and never the fleas.
And with that, we bid you adieu.